we don't have any children, for inheritance purposes, what happens to our property on the death of one of us or both of us?
As I mentioned previously, everybody's circumstances are always going to be different. That's why we look at people's specific cases. Where people don't have any children, then there's obviously the first likely scenario is that the first one to die would be putting everything in a will to the survivor. The survivor would then be free to leave the French property to anybody they may choose. They can write a will, be it a French will, an English will, one will covering both French and UK assets if they have them, and they would be free to leave the assets to anybody they may choose. However, and here's the big but with all of this, they would also need to be giving some thought to inheritance tax, because in the UK, we're used to the fact that inheritance tax is charged at one flat rate of 40% after an initial tax-free allowance. In France, the tax rates vary depending upon the proximity of the relationship between the deceased person and the eventual beneficiary. So everything that would pass to a surviving spouse is going to be free of inheritance tax. Everything that passes to children would attract one set of tax rates as relatively advantageous. But the further away from that, the direct line down children to grandchildren and so on, the higher the tax is. So while in that particular instance, they would be able to leave anything to anybody they may choose, the real problem is going to be the eventual beneficiary could, depending on how close they were, if they were, for example, just friends as opposed to cousins or siblings, they could be paying inheritance tax at 60%. So it's worth exploring in detail.